Well, depending on what 2-year-old you owned, who you're involved with, what happened, what took place, you could be really elated with 2020 at the stable. You could be indifferent, saying, it was okay. Or you could be angry. And I hope you're not angry at us. I mean, yeah, there's going to be some people that say, typical every year, there's going to be people say some of the horses were mismanaged. And I say to them, you manage a 100-horse stable and tell me how you make out. It's never that easy to do the right thing all the time, and there's going to be mistakes made. But a lot of those mistakes are hindsight mistakes, right? Where you can look back and say, oh, you should have done this differently or that differently. Yeah, well, we don't get to do that. And until they build a time machine, we're going to continue, like everybody else on planet Earth, to make the odd mistake here and there. So let's go through what is going on with the 2-year-olds. Some of them have been doing very good, and the one we're going to start off with has had a very, very good year. Adrenaline Rush, 2 for 2 in his last 2 in the OSS Grassroots. He's going to get a tough, stiff challenge on Tuesday. I looked quickly at the program, a couple of 53 pacers in there, so I'm interested to see how a sharp and strong and confident Adrenaline Rush looks with a few killers in there this week. So Adrenaline Rush, interested to see what he's going to do. I believe it's Tuesday. Barbie's Crown is back jogging now at the barn full time. Beef and Cheddar. Barbie's Crown is back jogging. She hasn't started training yet, so we'll get to that probably by the end of September. Beef and Cheddar also raced great his last 2 starts. Finished 3rd in the Grassroots, raced great. And then the other day, in the last quarter, 26 and 2, I believe. Mile and 53 or 54, maybe 55, I'm not sure. But he raced very, very good. Braemar is coming here, not here, I'm in Ohio, but he's coming to Pennsylvania. This week he's going to race Friday at the Meadows. Now, if you didn't get the note, you didn't see any of the videos, and this is the first you're hearing about it, and you own a piece of Braemar, got to get your license. So anybody that needs some help getting licensed in Pennsylvania that own pieces of Braemar, if you own less than 5%, you're okay. If you own 5% or more, you don't need a license. I'm not going to get into that particular portion of the day, but anyway, 5 or less, you don't need a license. Better's Hope is out in the field now, turned out, and he is going to remain there for about 60 days or so. Blue Monk is back in. He's at Kevin McMaster's barn. He's back jogging right now. Brilliant Corners just got picked off after not racing for what seemed like 7 years. Finally finished 2nd after a decent qualifier. He'll be much tighter. Looks really good going into Tuesday evening's Sire Stakes race at Mohawk. Broadway Roll, I know a lot of people are like, what are we doing with this filly? Really just biding our time until we can get into the fall. Taking our time until London opens where we can find some easier racing for Broadway Roll. We'll put some good miles onto her. If we want to keep her for the winter, we'll keep her. And if she ends up being an item of a horse that we may want to sell, then we will do that too. So, that's where we are with Broadway Roll. Cambridge Star is coming back next week for the 4% that isn't owned by me. He is coming back next week, and we'll start him back up. Can't Muscle Me is also coming back in very soon. She's been off about a month, about 5 weeks, 2 weeks in the stall. 1 week we turned her out in a small paddock so she didn't rip and tear and hurt herself. And then 3-4 weeks she's been out at the farm. More than enough time for her. She's on her way back in. Captain's Mate, I told Tim the other day, I said I'm not racing her in the 3-year-old races anymore. The Keystone Classic is coming up, and the race secretary believes there isn't going to be a lot of horses here for it. Don't know if I buy that. But if he's not going to fill 2-year-old races, Keystone Classic might be one of Captain's Mate's last races of 2020. This is a filly that's got a lot of talent, and she's turned into a very nice filly, and I want to let her mature into the best kind of horse she can be for 2021. There isn't a ton left for her in 2020. A couple overnights maybe. If they were riding 2-year-old classes, that would fill. But for now, it looks like the Keystone Classic, and that may be it. We'll see. Kerry Big Stick is still jogging at Harry's. I'm not going to get too serious with Stick until I get back to Ontario. I want to get him hung up a little bit differently, and it's not that Harry can't do that. It's just he's a bit of a tricky horse, and a horse that I want to pay close attention to when I get back to Ontario full time. Cut the Line is back in now jogging. Mario said she's jogging very good. Desperado raced today. Gotta say he was a little bit flat, but he's coming back on 5 days notice or 6 days notice. Can't be too upset with Desperado. Eternity Road is back in and back jogging now. He won't start training for about 5 weeks or so. First Glance is racing on Tuesday. He caught a tough crew too, I believe. But he's been a good colt for us this year, so I expect him to race well for Mario on Tuesday. Fox Valley Britska is actually turned out right now in Ohio. We got to pick him up at some point and figure out how to get him back to Northfield Park. Probably going to race him. They do have a 2-year-old maiden trot. Now it's restricted to PA owned and sired at the Meadows, but they're a little short, so they might be able to open that up for Fox Valley Britska. Frilly Fringes is back jogging now. She won't start training for about another month. Girls with Swirls is also back jogging now. Same type of schedule, about a month. Gray is the New Red. Gray is the New Red qualified 56-1 the other day at Northfield. Pretty big mile for a filly coming off a break in her first ever qualifier. She's going to need to be tightened up. And somebody had said to me the other day, why didn't we just leave her in Ontario? I said, valid question. You know, I just thought racing her in a couple of fairs, racing her back in a Buckeye maybe, would give her a little more experience in this state than trying to race her in Ontario. But now that Flambeau's up and running, Grand River, London, maybe she could have stayed there. So we'll see. I guess it remains to be seen whether that was a misstep or not. GW Chrome is back sound and jogging now, as I said to one of my partners the other day on him. I can't tell you why he's lame, and I can't tell you why he's sound. So rather than go looking for reasons, I'm just happy that it's the latter. He's now sound, he's back jogging. We'll begin training him later on in the week, next week. Italian Grit is turned out for the season now. We've turned out Italian Grit. He is at Winterwood, Mark Adams' place. We'll bring him back in about a month. He wasn't lame, he wasn't sore. You know, yeah, he struggled with allergies, but I think he'll be a pretty good winter horse for us. So rather than mess around with him, we're going to turn him out, let him grow up, and then we are going to bring him back in for the winter racing. At Glariam, one more qualifier for a girl, and then she is going, I don't know where she's going. She's going to race in Ontario maybe. There is a maiden trot here for her at the Meadows, but to ship her 5 hours to race in a couple of maiden races, is it really worth it? I'm not sure. She is technically eligible to the Liberty Bell and a couple of those things, but she's going to have to become a 57 trotter pretty quick to do that. So we'll see how she qualifies on Tuesday. I'm a Lovely Lady, didn't make the final, first also eligible. Isn't that a kick in the guts? Jeepers. That sucks. But she is eligible for the $75,000 final, the consolation of the final. So that's a good thing. We'll have her in that. I'm Hill on Wheels. The vet has asked to cryo him at the end, towards the end of September. Give him lots of time to heal, and then cryo him. There's no rush. That's fine with me. Jazzy Judy, big qualifier coming up. She, looking at the time frame and everything going on, she has to qualify on Thursday. So I'll qualify her in 2.4 or 2.5. She did make a break coming out of the gate in the schooler, but it was more or less just a little bit of a green thing. I think if we get her qualified, I think we can get her qualified no problem on Thursday. We'll see how that goes. If she doesn't qualify on Thursday, now we have to put our thinking cap on. Now what do we do? I'm not really sure. We'll figure that out. Jesse Balboa has been out for a little bit. We'll bring him back in a week or two. Get him back going. Keystone Raven is back going now full time. She's been training for a couple of weeks now for Mario. I suspect she's been around 235 or so. We'll continue to train her down until she's ready to go later on. Let's Roll On. He won't be out for too long. I'd say another 2 weeks for Let's Roll On. When we start to bring these babies back from Ohio, like the yearlings we buy in 2 weeks, Let's Roll On, I suspect, will be on that truck also. Miss Meringue raced her heart out today and raced great. You know, you watch her just bust around the first turn. I know they only went 2.8, but that wasn't a fast fair, and it was really a flat track. To put it in perspective, the horse that I won the fastest mile of the day with, 2 minutes and 2/5, I think his name was Johnny something, Johnny Rocket maybe, or Johnny Rockets, I don't know. I drove him for somebody, and they said he was a 53, 54 pacer, and he didn't want any more of 2 minutes. We were going from start to finish. So slow fair, a mile and 2.8, but Miss Meringue raced her heart out. Really impressed with this filly of late. Mama Knows Best was fantastic last week. She continues to be good. We put the hobbles on her. We get 2 more Buckeyes. I'm hoping that these 2 Buckeyes turn out to be fruitful. If they do, there is a mathematical shot that Miss Meringue could make the Buckeye final and the Sire Stakes consolation. She's in the consolation. 2 wins. She can win out 2 and 2. I think she has enough math to get to the final, maybe. Momo. Long thought about Momo today. She raced okay. No, she didn't. She raced flat. She won in 2 minutes the other day. This is a filly that's now, if I was selling her, a multiple stakes filly, stakes winning filly, who's paced in 55 on a half-mile track. might be worth going down that road. You get my drift. Momo's an okay filly, but is she going to be a stakes filly? No, probably not. So do we want to keep her around and race her, bring her back, rest her, bring her back, and, she still is a fair and a sire stakes, but, is this a filly we want to rest and bring back in 2021? I'm leaning probably no, but there may be some of our clients that want to, but I'm not leaning no, I'm saying no. I don't think she's a sire stake filly. I know for sure she likely won't be. And as far as even a Buckeye filly, bouncing around, they're fast. Like, she's not as good as Well and Down, and she's 6th, 7th in the points for the Buckeye series. So, probably leaning towards a sale for Momo in the future. My Jazz, no sale for her. She's turned out to be a diamond in the rough if there ever was one. The epitome of diamond in the rough. What she made, like 50, 60,000 this year, $6,000 yearling, racing for 300 on Sunday. Regardless of what she finished, she's had a tremendous year. Just been a great ride with My Jazz, and can't wait. It's not that I'm hoping this year is over. She's still got we can take our choice. We can race her in the last Buckeye. We want to really take advantage of that, or race her in the Ohio Breeders' Championship. Now, I don't think that Herculesa is eligible to that, so we'd be dodging probably the best horse in the division in Herculesa. So, conversation to be had, win, lose, or draw, no matter what happens on Sunday. Still got one big race left for our girl, My Jazz. No free lunch. A lot of people asked, where is he? Why isn't he in the grassroots on Tuesday? So I just left it with Harry. You make the decision. This is a colt that we just had a curb crowd. Curbs are funny. If you give them time, they're fine. If you don't, they can be very pesky and very bothersome for quite some time. So it's not something you'd screw around with. And no free lunch. Harry just didn't think that curb was settled and cooled down enough to race on Tuesday. So we aren't racing him. We'll race him back shortly after there and make a decision. As far as the golds go, it's not like there's a ton of horses in the gold. He's likely going to make the final, I think. Maybe he doesn't, he does, or he doesn't. It doesn't matter. He's a nice colt that's got a very bright future. So no free lunch. Most importantly, get that curb cooled out, and then we'll go from there. Northern Blizzard, bit of a pesky bugger, isn't he? Like, he's got talent. He's very fast, but made a break in his last stake race. We get a stake race coming up for him this week, and hopefully he's in fine shape to go into that. Harry told me the other day he seemed better, but I really should have talked to him this afternoon. I'm sure he trained him today. I'd be very interested to see how he did, and so would you, and I apologize for not asking him that, but I thought I had a good handle on everybody. But this particular horse, as far as I know, he's prepping for next week's stake race. Off-Road Hanover is back in now, jogging. Geez, he can be a little thin. I think he was running the fence line the whole friggin' summer. We got to put some weight back on him, which isn't hard. He's a good eater. So lots of weight back on Off-Road Hanover. We're targeting late fall, early winter. He's racing throughout. Perfect Record is in to go at Mohawk on Tuesday, I believe. 10-hole trailing post for him. Not a big deal. Just want to get some experience into him. Jody Jameson's going to drive him. Rose Run, why not? Big race. Not the end of the world, but a big race coming up for her Thursday. I'd like her to win this Buckeye along the same lines as Mama Knows Best. 2 wins, and then things get interesting. You get beat, not so interesting. She still has, if this filly's as good as I think, even if she doesn't make the Buckeye final, she can race in the Buckeye at Delaware and maybe a couple more starts and we shut her down. Or she can race in the Ohio Breeders also. She's a legit filly. It's no joke. So, Rose Run, why not? We'll see what happens with her this Thursday. Big race for her. Set the Mood is back jogging and training now. I'm going to scratch out this little horsey. We sold him. Bye-bye, Roy. Set the Mood is back jogging and training now. We'll see how he's... My God, he's a big horse. I saw him the other day when I was home last week. Huge horse. So admirable. How good is she now, eh? A win in 3 seconds in 4 starts. Just another horse that you just didn't see coming. I didn't see it coming. You certainly didn't see it coming. Kevin has done a great job with her, and she looks really good under Kevin McMaster. Cirrus Blue Chip, not so good. He's racing tomorrow at Clinton. Let's see how he does. He's another horse that well-bred. I know, as Kenny put it, well-bred. Love to see this breeding bubble up, but haven't seen it yet. Seen that mile in 57. He's been adequate at times, but a lot of times he hasn't. So I know there's a Drivers' Championship on tomorrow. Jody's driving him. You can be sure those little bumps aren't going to bother Jody Jameson. They bother him about as much as they bother me. Cirrus Blue Chip is going to get raced tomorrow. Stacy Hanover, I know she was over to train the other day at Mohawk. Should be over again this week. I'd like to see a mile and 2.2, 2.3 out of her. I personally haven't seen her go in forever, but Mario said she's getting better. She's huge. She's starting to look good. When this filly finishes growing up, maturing, filling out, be a scary looking filly, and I hope she does. I really like this filly. I've liked her since the first day I saw her. She's got the right attitude. So Stacy Hanover, hopefully, might be some racing in the future for her. Sunshine in May is present. Sunshine in May isn't really what we're looking for. I don't think we've kept her around, and we're going to continue to race her. I'd love to put a mark on her, on the little filly, but at some point she's probably going to be sold, I would imagine. So Sunshine in May, doing her work, doing what she can. You can't really, not going to get angry because she isn't a killer. It is what it is. I feel she's at least doing what she can, and that's a lot more than some of the horses that have just left. So Sunshine in May, love to see her pick it up. Love to see some easier racing for her in the fall. We'll see where that ends and where that goes. But for now, she is present. Sweet Ambitions is going to race in a minute at Flamborough. I'm going to pull over and see if I can watch this race when I'm done here. Curious filly, well bred. We had her moments where she showed some talent. Decent qualifier. We got the hobbles off her now. Really interested to see what's going to happen with her at Flamborough tonight. Tanzanite Tricks, a horrible mile the other day. Kevin told me he did her hawks and he didn't like what happened afterwards. He thinks they're just rough and she has to learn how to go with them. So a rough summer for Tanzanite Tricks. Hit that one start. Gee, she looked like she had some pop. Now she's kind of fizzled out, so let's see what Kevin can do with her over the next couple of weeks. That's my girl. Back in Ohio, I schooled her in 58.1 off a quarter and 31 seconds at Northfield Park. I was actually surprised she got around Northfield Park, but she did. Very interested to see what she's going to do next week. She has to qualify also. Tipsy and Dixie. What can you say about her? Another one of the same types as Brilliant Corners and So Admirable. Just really come out of nowhere, and it's just been fantastic all year. Leader in the OSS, both her and Adrenaline Rush leading their divisions. Can't wait to see what's going to happen the rest of the year. Walk on the Moon, I don't want to keep going down this road. Obviously, in hindsight, it was a misstep on my part to race him in the Wellwood elimination. And it's one of those, in hindsight, I'm sorry. At the time, it was a coin flip almost. Mario wanted to race him in the Wellwood. I agreed. We raced him. Turned out to be a shit show. Worse off, he ended up injuring his eye after the race, so we had to take him to the university and get his eye looked at. It wasn't a puncture, it was something in it, so he has a little ulcer, a little infection in his eye. Just the opposite of a good story for 2020, but hopefully everything will work out fine for Walk on the Moon, and we'll be able to salvage something for the rest of the season. But yeah, not our finest day in hindsight for sure. Warwy was injured. He's going to be get some work done on him in the coming weeks. He's probably done till the spring of 2021. Back racing, I mean. Well and Down was great today. Won a huge mile, finished third. I thought she raced great. And won My Heart Hanover. I skipped over Warwy Welcome. I'm sorry. Warwy Welcome, we turned out for a couple of weeks just to cool down. Clearly, we've scoped her like 5 times now. All 5 times she's had moderate mucus, but it's clearly caused a problem. We turned her out. Just going to give her next couple of weeks off and bring her back in. See what happens in the fall with her. And then Won My Heart Hanover is back and jogging right now, and it's going to be all systems go with her straight ahead into the fall with Won My Heart Hanover. So those are the 2-year-olds. Back in a minute. We still got some stables to talk about.